Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the Planning Commission meeting. It is 4:30 on Thursday, July 28th, 2022. First item on the agenda is the minutes from the June 30th, 2022 meeting. Any discussion, notations, corrections?
I'll offer a motion to approve as presented.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the June meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? They've been approved. The next item on the agenda is the consideration for approval, the final plat for the Milford Heights 6th edition.
Okay, in this particular case, the applicant property owner is Al Paler on behalf of S&P Development LLC. Legal description of the property is part of Lot 1, Block 2, 5th North Street, 1st Edition. Street address is 648 to 685 Haberly Avenue. The street is not in place at the present time. The property is located generally north of Beinhorn Street, west of Fender Drive, and south of 7th North Street. The status of the plat, the City Council approved the preliminary plat with conditions at its July 5th, 2022 meeting. Background on the request, the comprehensive plan designates this area for low-density residential. Surrounding land uses to the north, east, south, and west are also low-density residential. The zoning is R-1, which is a single-family residence district. Surrounding zoning to the north is AOS, which is agricultural open space. To the east and west, it's R1. To the south, it is R2, single and two-family residence district, and R3, which is a multiple family residence district. Current site use, property is vacant. Surrounding area uses include to the north, farmed. To the east, it's vacant and single-family dwellings. To the south, it's twin homes, townhomes, and it's vacant. And to the west is vacant. No notice is required for a plat. Public comment, there has been none to date. Status of utilities. Utilities are readily available to serve the lots within the area to be platted. As far as park areas are concerned, the comprehensive plan does not recommend a park within the platted area. The plat description includes the following. The platted area totals 5.03 acres. The property is the last to be platted in this area. The plat will extend Haberly Avenue from Beinhorn Street to 7th North Street. The site slopes from north to south. The recently approved plat of Milford Heights 5th Edition is located to the west of this property, and you may remember that plat was for twin homes. The plat would divide the property as follows. On either side of Haberly Street, there would be 7 lots of 2.07 acres each, and the street would be 0.89 acres. All of the platted lots would abut an alley. The plat would create a total of 14 single-family lots. The requirements for a lot in the R1 zoning district are as follows. Lot width is 65 feet. Lot depth is 125 feet, and the lot area is 9,000 square feet. All of the lots comply with that standard. Status of conditions that were identified at the time of the approval of the preliminary plat. And they were to pay the platting fee of $595. That payment is pending. Provide an electronic file of the plat in an AutoCAD 2016 or newer format. That notice has been provided to the land surveyor, and then enter into a development agreement, and that agreement is pending. As far as attachments are concerned, attachment 1 is the final plat, and John has brought that up on the screen. And attachment 2 is an aerial photograph of the property. Staff would recommend approval of the final plat with conditions since it complies with city code requirements. The recommended conditions are the same as the ones that I just read. I would also note that the property owner previously provided land and received credit for a portion of Fender Park. This contribution satisfied the required parkland dedication requirement for this plat. And then 2 motions are provided, one to approve and one to deny the request. That would conclude the staff report.
Thank you. Are there any questions for staff concerning?
Have there been any changes since the
No.
draft of the plot?
I do have one question, Dave. It says here that your note is the property owner provided land, and the comprehensive plan does not recommend a park within the platted area.
Right. So the land that was provided was for Fender Park. The location of Fender Drive, we ended up with a strip of property
Okay,
between the street and the park, and so they dedicated that strip of property as
okay,
as part of the park. And so we've allowed them to use the credit from that particular contribution for the platting that took place within that general
All
area.
right. Okay. So it's apples for apples and
Yeah.
we're fine, okay.
Where is the alley? It says these lots abut an alley.
There are alleys on each side of the platted area, 20-foot alley, which is standard for the city.
Mhm.
I don't know that the alleys have actually been installed, but they are platted.
Okay. Is there any other discussion, questions? Looks pretty standard to me.
I'd like to offer a motion, Madam Chair, if that's appropriate at this time.
Yes, it would.
I would recommend the approval of the final plat of Milford Heights 6th edition with conditions.
Thank you. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Any further discussion? I have a motion and a second to approve with recommended conditions. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Next on the agenda is the subdivision of property. Consider for approval the request of Alvin Johnson on behalf of Dreamville New Ulm LLC to use a meets and bounds legal description to facilitate the annexation of property located in part of the southeast quarter of the northeast quarter in section 24, township 110 North, range 31 West, Brown County, Minnesota. Staff report?
Okay. First, the name of the owner is inaccurate. It should be HHF Dreamville New Ulm LLC. So we need to add 3 letters in front of the description that we previously provided. The street address of the property is 1800 North Highland Avenue, and that just generally provides a location for the property. The property covers a variety of different street addresses. Property is located east of North Highland Avenue and south of Maplewood Drive. The current comprehensive plan land use for the property is low-density residential. To the northeast and south, Low-density residential is the recommended land use. To the west, it's park, open space, and airport. The zoning designation for the property, currently, it's in Milford Township, so it's actually zoned agricultural R1. Upon its annexation into the city, it would become AOS, agricultural open space. Surrounding zoning to the north, it's R1, single-family residence district, and R2, single and two-family residence district. To the east, it's R1 and AOS. To the south, it's in Brown County, and so it's zoned A1 agriculture. To the west, it's Brown County, A1, then it's city, R2, and AOS. Current site use, the land is fallow, which undeveloped. Other area uses, to the north, it's single-family residences and twin homes. To the east, it's undeveloped property and gravel mining. To the south, it's crop farming. And to the west, it's a stormwater pond, crop farming, and the airport. Notice, none is required. Public comment, none to date. Status of utilities is not applicable in this particular case. The park area, the comprehensive plan does not recommend a park within the designated area. Project description, the request description, the total area of the property is 6 acres. As noted previously, it directly abuts North Highland Avenue and Maplewood Drive. The property varies in width from 35 feet to 337 feet. That's a north to south distance, and the depth varies from 516 to 969 feet. That's an east to west direction. The property owner is proposing to annex the property into the city. This would allow the property owner to develop a mix of residential housing on the property, including apartments, twin homes, and townhouses. In order to annex the property into the city, a legal description must be provided. City regulations would typically require a platted legal description. The applicant would propose to use a meets and bounds legal description for that purpose. The applicant is proposing to start construction of the project yet this year. The applicant is preparing a plat for the property, but the amount of time necessary to complete the plat approval process will adversely impact the start of construction. The use of a meets and bounds legal description would allow the project to proceed on schedule. In some situations, the platting requirement can be waived and an unplatted legal description can be used in its place. The approval process to use an unplatted legal description requires the Planning Commission to review and to make a recommendation to the City Council. The criteria to be used in considering this request is found in the city's land subdivision and platting regulation chapter, which is chapter 10. This section allows the City Council to waive the platting requirement provided compliance with the foregoing restriction would create an unnecessary hardship, and failure to comply does not interfere with the process or the purpose of the subdivision regulations. And the city has approved similar requests in the past, and actually the recent past, we've had 2 of them now. The attachments include the applicant's letter and a copy of the survey for the property. Attachment 2 is a site location map, and attachment 3 are ground level photographs, and 3 of those are provided. And John has up on the monitor the site location map for the property. Staff would recommend approval of the request for the following reasons. Number 1, His approval of the request would avoid an unnecessary hardship by allowing construction of the project to proceed as soon as possible, now that being this fall. And B, it would not interfere with the purpose of the subdivision regulation since the property will be platted by December 1, 2022. This action and the date that's provided would be a condition to the approval of this request, and I'm referring to the December 1st date. The use of a meets and bounds legal description is a temporary measure until the property can be platted by December 1st, 2022. This action would allow the annexation process to be completed in a timely manner, and this action would not adversely impact the development of any surrounding properties. The conditions, there are 3 of them. The first is that the resolution approving this request will be filed with the Brown County Recorder's Office. Second, an electronic file of the drawing will be provided to the city in AutoCAD 2016 or newer format. And the third is that a plat of the property will be approved by the city of New Ulm and filed with the Brown County Recorder's Office by December 1st, 2022. And then 2 motions are provided, one to approve and one to deny the request. That would conclude the staff report.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the city? Staff?
Just to follow up maybe on the schedule for this project, a request for a planned unit development will be on your agenda for next month's meeting.
Okay. That little parcel of land at the top of the photograph, is that part of the city already, that it looks like trees or something?
Yes,
That
that's
corner
owned by
by-
the city of New Ulm.
Okay. Is that usable land?
It's topographically, there are some challenges there.
Okay.
It looks like a lower portion was mined out at one period of time, and there's a fairly significant elevation difference between the street and the south side of the property.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
was only
16
looking
feet.
at that because of the narrowness of the point that this comes to, and if any, there was, okay, thank you.
Dave, are we gonna have to have any concerns if there's a development here with putting a screen or fencing around that area, if it's got topography challenges?
It's
Not
not
that-
that bad. That would necessitate that type of improvement.
Okay,
Not a good sledding hill.
well,
That's it. Are there any questions, concerns for any other subject? Then I would be open for motions.
I'd make the motion to recommend approval of the use of the unplatted legal description to facilitate the sale of the property as legally described in attachment 1 with conditions.
second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion needed? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Next item on the agenda is the updates to the comprehensive plan.
Okay, just wanted to inform you of some upcoming activities associated with the plan. The first is that there is a public workshop scheduled for August 10th. It's a Wednesday from 4:30 to 6:30, and it's not an open house, so you need to be there at 4:30 if you want to attend, and it's going to last probably for an hour and a half to 2 hours. And it's going to be conducted at the middle school, so it'll be addresses 414 Main Street, but you'll need to enter from the Garden Street side of the building. It's in a conference room there. And as I said, it'll be similar the content will be similar to what took place at the kickoff.
But the public is invited, is it?
Public is invited, all of you are invited to attend if
I'm
you
just,
so
yeah, I'm
wish.
just saying if it's not, people are gonna be coming in late, but they can't come in late?
They can come in late, it's just that they might come in midway
Okay,
through the
S-
presentation
okay.
and the workshop.
okay.
So if people want to come, it's best off to be there at 4:30.
All right.
Secondly, on August 17th, that'll be the next meeting of the Project Steering Committee, of which you are all a member. That'll be at the PUC conference room from 4 to approximately 6 o'clock. That's a Wednesday. And I think one of the purposes of that meeting is to review the results from both the kickoff meeting and then from the public workshop. Might note that we have had 100 surveys returned to date, which I guess we're hopeful that we'll have more coming in. As you know, the webpage is up and is operating. We will have a press release going out shortly about the public workshop. And we've received notifications from 5 people that want to be advised by email of events and activities that are taking place with the plan. So we have that capability as well, if anybody wishes to be notified of.
I do want to comment on the meeting that we had a month ago or a couple weeks ago. I thought it was a very productive meeting, and I thought it moved nicely. You can sit in some of these planning meetings and sessions and be scratching your head, and I hate breakout sessions normally because it's like, oh, I don't really. But this one went really well, and I thought everyone was very involved, and I appreciate that. I thought it was, I think we did a good job with the facilitators.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So,
I would agree.
yeah,
yeah, we'll pass that along to them.
okay, thank you. Reports, city council decisions concerning planning commission matters in July.
Okay, at the July 5th meeting, they approved the preliminary plat of Milford Heights, 6th edition as previously reported. Approved the use of an unplatted legal description to facilitate the sale of property that was made by Wake's Hilltop Acres. They approved the variance request of Nicholas Brew to allow a concrete parking pad to be constructed 4 feet from the side property line at 1810 Oakwood Avenue. And then on a different matter, they authorized a request for proposals to be sent out to firms to provide information on the implementation of a stormwater utility fee. At the July 19th meeting, following a public hearing, they approved a resolution adopting a tax abatement program for Southern Minnesota Tooling, which is located at 1212 North Front Street. And associated with that, they also adopted a development agreement. This firm is proposing a building addition. They're going to double their size, and they're a tool and die company. So, be a nice addition. That would conclude the report.
Elwood Heritage Preservation
Yeah, we had
Commission.
2 one design guideline review for the new building at the Doppelleichen Vineyard, which they are tearing down the buildings today. And then a design review on the sign for Mystical Dreams or whatever, the place that were blue vapes, and they denied that sign. So he's coming back with a different design. That was it.
They approved that sign?
They denied it,
Oh, thank you.
so.
Okay. Is there any other business come before the commission before we adjourn and break out into work session? If not, the meeting stands adjourned. I'm sorry we're 10 minutes late. Too bad. Does anyone?